Hello everyone. I'm going to tell you a little bit about quill pens. I love drawing with a quill pen, and I've got 3 at present. 2 of them are antique, 1 was handmade by a friend. Each one I keep a different nib in, and the reason for this is that different nibs not only give a different line, as in some can be more the flat edge like a calligraphy nib, some are much sharper, but also a different experience, whether you are drawing with a very hard line, whether you want to draw softer, what paper you want to draw on. The nibs do wear out pretty fast, which is something not many people know. Often people will buy an antique pen and they're pretty chuffed that they've got the nib with it still, and they end up with having the scratchy mess that doesn't hold ink. You do need to replace the nibs. The nibs are pretty easy to get hold of still. You can buy brand new nibs. I've got what you can see is a really good collection of antique nibs. And I discovered that my favorite pen, which is North Silver, the nib has now worn out. The last time I drew, I ended up just sort of tipping ink all over my drawing, which wasn't much fun. So take the old nib out, which takes a little bit of pulling, and you can see possibly that the prongs aren't very well aligned anymore. It's slightly shorter on the one side than the other. It's a little bit bent. I did drop it, which is also what often happens to vintage pens or antique pens that you may get. They've been dropped a lot and the nibs are a bit damaged from that. And I chose a nib that was very similar to what was in it, but much finer. So it should give a very fine, very soft line. Now when you're putting in a new nib, the first thing that you need to do is to actually sand it down a little bit. So you get a piece of water paper, this is a 600 grit, and just gently sand the tip. This is because on brand new nibs there's a build-up of grease often, and it's also very, very smooth and doesn't hold the ink well, so you end up with a lot of splotching. So when you're sanding down the nib, you are giving places for the ink to hold on. So you just give it a light sanding until it's no longer super shiny inside and out. And then you wipe it down with some isopropyl alcohol. Aubrey, I need that. Just to get rid of any last grease buildup that there is. The sanding it down is very important. You shouldn't just put a brand new nib in for the reasons that I've outlined. Put the nib back in your pen. And you are ready to go. Let's use this one. This is one of my favorite inks. It's a Mont Blanc. It's called Mystery Black. It's not actually black. It's a very, very dark purple. You can see how well the ink's actually held onto the tip. And what a beautiful line I'm getting there. And if I really want it, I'll get a good splotch from a decent shake too. But there's no pooling, no matter how hard I press. And that's it.